Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for joining me today for a brief mini collection episode. Going to take a look at the small collection stacked in front of you here that I've put together this past summer. And these are throwback cards to a very, I would say, iconic brand in our hobby overall. And that is Precious Metal Gems, or PMGs. I think many of you who don't even collect Modern have probably heard of these. They were insanely popular parallels introduced, I think, in the world of basketball cards in the 1990s. Those cards go for a crazy amount of money. Like if you find a Michael Jordan PMG, you could probably sell it and pay off your mortgage, regardless of how big a house you're living in. Just crazy, crazy collector appreciation for those. And while the Skybox brand is where they came about in the 90s, here in the 21st century, Upper Deck owns the rights to Skybox and in turn the Precious Metal Gem name, and they're able to treat hockey fans to modern day PMGs. And I think these cards are just great just because of that throwback to those 90s classics and kind of the name recognition that PMGs have in the hobby. And so got to thinking during this hockey off season that I wanted to add a few of these selectively to my hockey card collection. And I wanted to kind of go big in terms of the names that I picked up, and also add at the very end, we'll touch on a personal touch to my collection that I am so excited about. It's one of the biggest cards I've landed all summer long, and I can't wait to show it to you. So let's just get into it. I have this older one up in the background here featuring Erik Carlson, great defenseman for the Ottawa Senators. This one is about 10 years old now. It was in like a throwback set. But nowadays we get full-blown Metal Universe hockey sets, which are, again, the set that these originated in back in the 90s. And so I went big and I picked up from this past year's set, 2021-22, but really came out pretty late, the Connor McDavid. I mean, you can't get much bigger than that in the realm of hockey. This one graded out at a 7. And I think you can see with the way the lighting is in here, the reason why, in my opinion, is this print line, which I didn't recognize, I'll be honest, when I bought this card at auction. But I have zero regrets. I think it's a beautiful looking card. I love the alternate Oilers jersey here. And as is usually the case with these, certainly was with the originals, these are numbered to just 100. So if you look on the back, I got copy 21 of 100 on the McDavid. So there are 2 McDavids in the set. This is the alternate image with this particular jersey. So really 200 total McDavid PMGs this year. Not a high number at all. And again, I think these have enough promise and name recognition that they kind of transcend the sport. And especially for big players like McDavid, I expect in the future that this will be a card that I'm very glad that I picked up. Due to the print line, this received a grade of a 7, which is actually not terrible for PMGs. And I mean, look at the glow on this card. Just insane shine. And these, just because of the material that they're made out of, this kind of foil material, and then on the back, the cardstock can be tough as well. So right out of the pack, these typically are not in pristine condition. They don't grade out all that well. And as I say often with cards that are, serial numbered 100 or less in particular, the grade does not really matter too much to me, so much as just getting the card and having it authenticated. So never thought I would have a legit Connor McDavid PMG in my collection, graded a 7 or not, and was happy to take advantage of the discount that grade provided to land one of the 100 copies of that card. And then, of course, if you've been by the channel frequently, my favorite current player and a guy who is in the news quite a bit lately in the world of hockey is Alex Ovechkin. And while I grabbed the alternate jersey McDavid, also had an opportunity in a lower grade, and these don't come up that often, to get the alternate uniform Alex Ovechkin as well from the same set to match the McDavid. This one happens to be in a CSG slab. So really, really shines through with that clear, almost glass-like plastic. Just awesome, awesome. I love the image here of this alternate jersey with that screaming eagle with the stars on it. The red of that jersey really, really works well with the background here. I actually prefer this to his standard image. And again, this is graded a 6.5, and it allowed this to be a very affordable card to me, but it's still iconic. You just can't go wrong with a PMG. Ovechkin has a chance to be the greatest goal scorer in the history of hockey if he can stay healthy for a couple more seasons here and produce some big numbers. And so this is an exciting parallel to have. Don't really know why this graded a 6.5, to be honest. Copy 28 of 100. I'm not in the habit of, closely analyzing my cards all that much. I don't see any print lines or real surface issues with this like I did on the McDavid. Corners look pretty good to me. But also, I don't really care. It made this card affordable. As, it's crazy to say, but really didn't have to break the bank on any of the PMGs that we're looking at today. And given their status in the hobby and the caliber of players that we're talking about here, I'm just very, very pleased with how this turned out. And so I was kind of content at this point with, the two alternate jerseys of McDavid and Ovechkin, my two favorite players. But a Buy It Now auction came up. This is about a month ago now, and it was at a price that was just too good to pass up. So it's the standard non-alternate Ovi from the same set, this time in the more familiar, retro Capitals jersey. What made this amazing, and the reason I went out of my way to buy this, even though I wasn't planning on doing so, this went up as a Buy It Now for $199. And for those of you that are hockey collectors or Ovechkin collectors specifically, and knowing, the popularity of PMGs, that was too good to pass up, especially since this card is graded a PSA Mint 9. Now, I haven't looked up the pop report on this, but I can tell you right now, as you've seen in the background, a lot of these right out of the pack were nowhere near a Mint 9 in condition. So was honestly shocked to see this go up in a PSA 9, my favorite grade. I love my PSA 9s for right about $200 or slightly under. And I just think, that's a criminal price. I didn't even have to do any research or think twice. When I saw that card get listed, I bought that within mere minutes of it popping up online. And just really, really, really pumped to have that one, probably above all the others in my collection, just because of the condition. Again, you just don't see these in 9s and 10s. They are so damage prone. And you can see with these lined up together, the lighting in here is not even perfect, but even as it is, these are just incredible cards. They flat out glow. And I really, really commend the job that Upper Deck has done with these throwbacks. And that's going to bring us to my favorite PMG. So stick with me for one more minute here, because this one is incredibly special. I've talked about it a couple times before, but growing up, my brothers and I, my whole family really, we were big Hartford Whalers fans. And obviously, in the mid to late 90s, that franchise moved down to Carolina. It was a crusher to all of us. But in recent years, the Carolina Hurricanes, which is now the name of the team, they do a throwback night once or twice a year where they play as the Hartford Whalers. And I've even been able to see one of those games in person against the Bruins a couple of years back. And Upper Deck, to their credit, has created some cards that feature those throwback Whalers sweaters. And you can tell where I'm going with this one, but from the same set as the first three that we just looked up at there, the 2021 Metal Universe release, we have Sebastian Aho for the Carolina Hurricanes, but really looks like he's for the Hartford Whalers more than anything. As soon as I learned of the existence of this card, I had to go out and land one. This is, in my estimation, the only Hartford Whalers PMG card that exists, at least at this point in time. And it's an alternate jersey card, just like the Ovechkin and McDavid that we saw at the beginning here. Alternate jersey being the Whalers. So there is an Aho where he's in a normal Hurricanes jersey. But obviously I wanted this retro throwback featuring my beloved Hartford Whalers. And I'm just ecstatic that they produced a PMG of a Hartford Whalers card. I can't get over it. Take a look at the back here. I would honestly buy a couple more copies of this if I can find them cheap. This is copy 19 of 100. I paid, I think, around $25 for this, which is a steal. Aho, I think he's a sneaky good player and he could make the Hall of Fame someday, but he's not highly collected, so it's not difficult to obtain this card. But the last card that I have to show was extremely difficult to obtain. And it took me months and months of waiting and searching and having a couple fall apart before this one finally fell into my lap. So one of the cool things about PMGs, they're numbered to 100, as you can see on the back, and they're red. However, as a general rule, the first 10 cards in the print run, so cards 1 through 10 of 100, are green, and then the remaining 90 are red. So they share the same serial numbering, 1 through 100, but if you get one of the first 10, it's going to be green, and the other 90 are going to be the more common reds like you see here. So you can probably tell where this is going, but upon learning that this Hartford Whalers PMG existed, immediately I knew that I wanted to find one of the 10 green copies that exist out there in the world. This is a tall order. Obviously, cards numbered to 10 are just brutal. I mean, for all I know, half of these or more are probably still in boxes, yet to be opened. And then who knows if, the few that are opened will ever surface. I've had a saved search for, the Aho PMG green for about a year now, since I learned of its existence. One copy did surface ungraded on eBay. Guy wanted about $1,000 for it, which I was simply not willing to do. And tried to go back and forth negotiating with him a bit. It just never worked out. But about 2 months ago, a new one popped up on ComC, and I transferred in some funds, made my offer, and I'm proud to say I am one of the owners of just the 10 copies of the Hartford Whalers green Precious Metal Gems card. Sebastian Aho, it's the same card as the red. But again, as I described, if we look on the back, this is copy 8 of 100. So being within that first 10, it is a green color match to my beloved Hartford Whalers. So not only is this the only Hartford Whalers PMG that exists, to my knowledge, but finally, after a long wait and a lot of patience, managed to become one of up to only 10 potential owners of the only green Hartford Whalers PMG in existence. And if you know me, you know I'm a sucker for not only Hartford Whalers stuff, but team color matching. And to finally be able to reel one of these in after all this time, it's just mind-blowing to me. This is instantly an all-time favorite Hartford Whalers card of mine, even though it's only kind of a quasi-Whalers card. But I'm just ecstatic. Definitely like a top 5 card that I've been able to land this whole year so far. It honestly means that much to me. And kind of the centerpiece right now, as it stands anyway, to my very small little PMG collection. So there you have it. Just a look at a hockey version of a very popular parallel. Really happy that I was able to pick these up. I appreciate you stopping by to spend a few minutes of your time enjoying them with me. And would certainly love to hear from you in the comments if you own any PMGs or have anything to say about this legendary parallel. And in the meantime, as you know, I'll be back in the very near future with some more sports card content. Till then, take care and enjoy the hobby, everybody. See ya.